right, everybody. Once again, it's Friday night, and it is time for the midnight run. And I'm feeling so good. Let's replay that again. I'm gonna play that tune again. Enough fun, folks. Enough fun. How y'all doing tonight? Well, guess what? I've just had a fresh shower. I haven't put no cologne on, but I will do that in shortly. A little Langford Classic, I'm running out. And I'm feeling good, baby, good. And like I said before, I've not thought of a new show theme for tomorrow. There will be no more Soul Pole Saturday, as I'm swearing off delivering Soul Pole for a hot minute. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Nobody ain't getting no Soul Pole for a while. I'm taking a break, folks. The Cocosaurus Rex is going back into the ocean, you know. King Kong can have that. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Part of the reason being is I got to train a lot harder. I'm training harder. I'm doing work, you know. We just got to do what we got to do. So tonight, folks, you drinking espresso, Ryan? Good deal. We got a great night ahead of us here. Always. Gummy from the Gas is canceling his channel due to death threats. No, he isn't. He'll be back. I mean, death threats are pretty common on, you know, any channel. I mean, I don't know how many death threats I get, you know. I mean, if someone wants to air me out in the neck, you know, I can't do nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, death can come from anywhere, baby. Anywhere. But make sure you got good security. You looking for me? What are you talking about? I've already done played. I was told you what I was gonna do. See, I was running, man. What are you talking about? So tonight, folks, I got iced coffee. So here's what happened. Normally during lunchtime at 2 o'clock, I usually have a Celsius, a little pack and everything, but I accidentally made coffee. And I always like drinking coffee at nighttime. So mix a little milk in there, put a little Gentleman Jack, and it's pretty good, folks. Very good. Of course, I got my water cup given to me by my good friend Pugman. Y'all be sure to thank Pugman. And of course, the Gurkha Sherpa Orange. I tell you right now, I am very impressed with these cigars. I really am. Now, I'm going to have to... So, if you guys tuned into the show, whenever the replay comes, you won't hear that song because I'm going to have to erase it out. Sorry, it's copyrighted, but it was so fun to play. But in any event, you know, we've already had enough spooktacular entertainment there. Let's get the cigar lit. And folks, get your questions in and or make a donation. We will start videos at 9 o'clock p.m. For God and country. Learn from who? We're not going to do the bougie bounce for a while, given the situation of things. The great one is not too happy with Trump right now. Nope. One of the cruxes is freedom of speech. Everyone has a right to walk up and call me a fucking N-word and everything. See, I can say it. I can play the music. But like I said, I'm not trying to get a community strike. But you're free to say the N-word, the C-word, and everything like that. You are not free from social judgment. But when you try to stifle free speech, that's not cool. If you stifle free speech, you lose shows like mine. And the tariffs are killing me. The tariffs are just wrecking the business. I mean, literally speaking, just from a general sense, I really think I'm gonna end up in the red this month by maybe $200 or $300. The sales are just not coming in, and I mean, they really aren't. I will eventually. But I'll be right back. I gotta get my cologne. Something else. See, I'm running low on, whoa, shit. God damn it. See, I'm almost out of Langerford Classic. Got a little drops left. Oh, come on. There we go. It's only free speech when you say something nice about Trump. Sadly so. Oh, by the way, folks, do you know that someone decided to air out the ABC station? I mean, literally speaking, they did a drive-by on ABC today. I kid you not. They did a drive-by at ABC. All because of Jimmy Kimmel. They aired it out, folks. Y'all don't believe me? I mean, literally speaking, folks, I will have to say, folks, this is the mintiest year ever. They literally shot up an ABC. All because of Jimmy Kimmel. And unfortunately, NBC runs a lot of ads. So we'll get off of that. Bastards. Now, I know I put the link up late for the, but we should be fine. I got plenty of videos. We got to play the new John Bravo one anyway. For God and Country is that Cuban? Oh, nice. Hi, Cuban. How you doing? How's the trailer going? You doing all right in there? I told you, trailer living is awesome, isn't it? I mean, I know you had to downsize and everything. I mean, maybe one day you'll explain why you went from a house to a trailer. And you know, I already know in that neighborhood they have old 1970s and 1980s trailers. You not fooling nobody. I know that. I went and researched that trailer park. It's all homes from like the 70s and 80s. I mean, you're living in a house that's like almost 40 years old. See, my model's a 2018. You dig? You can't be as loquacious as me, brother. My trailer blows your trailer away. I'm trailer fabulous. You trailer trashulous. Period. Non-negotiable. My trailer beats your trailer. What do you think, Dale? What do you think? Is my trailer not better than Cuban's trailer? I bet you it is. And you see, there's nothing wrong with an 80s trailer. As long as it's done nicely. I mean, those 80s trailers have those vaulted ceilings and stuff. But it's still low as hell. I don't have vaulted ceilings. Mine are just high. They're like 10 feet. Mine's built like a house, actually. Could even take a foundation. I had to do some siding work under it. You know, over time, as the home settles, it sometimes pushes out things. The meadows. Yes, indeed. You see, the thing about it is, I don't live in a trailer park. Oh, yeah, I mean, Ryan, the good thing about those places is that they got most of them have sunrooms in them, and the great one loves sunrooms. I'll eventually get one from my place, but most of those places have sunrooms. The only problem is that he didn't really buy the trailer. You see, there's a little scheme down in Florida. You buy a trailer for like $20,000 and it's cheap. But where they get you at is the lot rent, in other words. So basically speaking, you're paying rent on the trailer. And if you stop paying, you can't take that trailer with you. You want to know why? Because it can't move. You understand? If you try to move a 40-year-old trailer, the thing is going to fall apart. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. They're like freaking timeshare condos. Well, I wouldn't say it is as bad. Am I not right, Cuban? You don't think the great one is research trailers down there in Florida? I'm a master at trailers. If anyone wants to know about a trailer, you can ask the great one. I had to master myself in order to buy the right one. What's up, nigga? Ninja? What's up? How you doing? I'm just educating people on the on trailers. Could probably run through a Clayton 2018 and not KO yourself. Yeah, there ain't no asbestos in mine, but yeah, I can tell you right now, there's asbestos in Cuban's trailer. He's gonna get some mesothelioma or something. You know, this used to be the old intro song. Raw, you just straight up nasty. Why don't you go get yourself one of those things? Oh boy. I am so impressed with these cigars. All the complaints that I heard about these, it's all because they tried to smoke them up all at once. They didn't bother aging them. I mean, he'll need to get a storage building for all of his junk equipment that he has. And I don't know if he has any real sources of income. Now, as we know, hold on. I can't let you guys see that message. See, I was about to move over to Facebook, but someone sent me a nice private message that I don't think you guys are going to read, period. But let's take a look at the meadows, folks. The home of Cuban. You see, all of this is nice and everything. However, they never show the houses. Let's do a home search. Now, this is where the stuff gets funky, like a monkey. Let's search some homes. Let's see if I can buy a home where Cuban lives. Now, this one's pretty nice. Great, folks. You could live in a trailer with a garage for $245,000. My God, who in the world would pay that much? That is a trailer, folks. That is a freaking trailer. They're trying to sell a trailer and a garage for that kind of money? What level of chicanery is this? I call chicanery on this. Literally speaking, and that's why I was gonna bring up. This is a trailer, folks. It's on blocks. It's on blocks. Look. It's under construction. It's on blocks. I mean, literally speaking, I'm gonna spend $245 for a trailer that's on blocks. Where the house at? Where the house at, nigga? I mean, all of these are garbage homes. $200,000 for a trailer. And then, but that's why they put these on rent for. Who rents this stuff? No, I'm not a felon. I'm not gonna go into that situation. But guess what, folks? The situation actually changed anyway. I can own a gun now. But I'm not gonna get one. So, folks, give me a round of applause. I can own a gun again. Woo! Nature boy. But I'm not gonna get one. I'm gonna still stick with everything and not get a gun, as if I still am not allowed to go and own a gun. Too much paperwork and a lot of stuff I would have to do in order to... They said I'm allowed with stipulations. And folks, the great one does not do stipulations. Alright? I am more than capable of defending myself. I got hands of steel like Ronnie Garvin. Know what I mean? Speaking of which, let's take a tour of the meadows anyway. Why don't we do that? I mean, they're all rentals. Because Lord knows who wants to buy that. You not only got to pay that rent, but you got HOA fees on top of that. I mean, they're running some stuff around here. I mean, seriously. So where are the cheap homes at? Let's update the search. Let's see if we can find the cheapest home out there. There we go. Now, folks, now we're going to get to the good stuff here. Watch this. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. This ain't it. Hold up. What is this thing doing? I thought I was already on the meadows. Oh, boy. Well, I mean, it's still a garbage place. I'm not going to get into the restrictions here, so. Like I said, I don't need a gun. I got plenty of proper things to appropriately defend myself. Guns are too troublesome, too, sometimes. I just don't need that. But folks, get your questions in. We'll start videos in about 30 minutes. I just want to make sure I give you guys time. Plus, I want to enjoy my cigar. No, I didn't. You don't get a baton as a corrections officer. You don't get nothing but your hands. Only the sergeants carry that stuff. Not a bootleg, not a foot soldier like myself. All you had was these, and that's all you need, folks. You just need these. That's what the great one. That's all I need. And some of these people out there saying that they can kick my ass. No, you can't. I mean, you possibly could, but you're gonna get seriously hurt doing it if you manage to. You will not come out unscathed. I will bite you. I will kick you in the balls. I fight dirty, folks. I gouge people. I mean, I gouge eyes and stuff. I'm freaking like Haku. Y'all don't believe me? I mean, the last fight I was in, I gouged their eyes out. I mean, I didn't pluck their eyeballs out there, but I did blind them. And I kicked them in the nuts, too. A couple times here. You see, when it comes to a fight, all rules are off there. You do what you have to do to win. So if I have to kick someone in the balls or gouge their eyes out or trip them or do whatever, I mean, I'm going to win the fight regardless. You will not get a fair fight from me. I don't play by Queensberry. All right? There's no such thing as a fair fight for me. I just want to win the fight. That's it. Now, maybe you don't agree with me or anything. There may not be any honor as far as to what I have to say. But I'm just letting you know it's why I haven't lost a fight in over a quarter of a century. And I'm too old to be getting into fights anyway. I'm like 48 years old. Why in the world am I going to be fighting someone? I mean, the last fight, I kicked him in the balls a couple of times. And then he finally gave up. He's like, stop doing that. By that time, I just knocked him out. He was unconscious. I left him sleeping. Yep, left him sleeping. Like I said, folks, I fight very dirty. Like I said before, you won't get a fair fight from me. Fuck that. Boxing match with Jay. If McCluck had fought me, I would have kicked him in the balls too. Why? Because I'm the great one. And the grape one will kick you in your grapes. That doesn't make any sense, Geisham. You're gonna play that Run Nigga Run song while cream pieing your woman? I mean, that's kind of weird, man. You weird. Weirdo. Why would you play that? And this ain't no Eric Cartman stuff here. This is some straight Bobby Hill. That's my purse! Kick! I tell you, folks, if you have to get into a fight, kicking someone in the balls is probably the quickest way to end it. Because one, even if you miss, they think, oh, this guy plays dirty. I'm not gonna fight this person. You have to do what it takes to win. If I have to pick up a rock, I will pick up a rock or a brick or find some sort of stone. My favorite is just simply to trip someone. You know, have your dukes up. Here's a good way to win a fight, folks. You don't need none of this kung fu stuff. See, when you put your dukes up naturally and you're waving them around, people are going to automatically assume that you're going to throw a fist. All right? So you wave them around, and then you leg sweep them. Because they're not going to expect it. That's how easy it is to win a fight, folks. All right? You give them one big leg sweep. Once they're on the ground, you start choking them or pick up a huge rock and start cracking them upside the head with it. Now, I don't endorse violence or anything like that. I'm just giving you something to think about. That's all I'm doing. But it's 2025, man. I'm not going out like Willie Lump Lump. I mean, martial arts is some of the dumbest stuff ever. Martial arts doesn't teach real-world training, folks. I've had people in the prisons tell me they know all this martial arts, and then I just go and lay them out, and that was it. You want to know why? Martial arts is organized fighting. The closest thing you have to unorganized fighting is MMA. But all this old chop suey Hong Kong Phooey stuff does not work in the real world, and it doesn't work against the great one. Period. I'm not saying Kung Fu is for suckers or anything like that. I think it's admirable that people learn it. But you have to understand that karate does not apply in a street fight because there are no rules in a street fight. You understand? So you can do this hi-ya stuff at me, you still gonna get what you're gonna get. And I'm gonna just leave you where I found you. Do I get drowsy after a flu shot? Yes, and usually I get sick the very next day. I mean, I don't know who's putting the surprise. Don't be surprised. I'm right. That's why people watch MMA, because that is unorganized fighting. I wouldn't fight an MMA fighter because it's practically real world fighting. I mean, there is a little organization, but what they do in the cage, they can do out there in real life. But karate, no, for the most part. Yeah, I can't believe they aired out a ABC station. Why in the world would someone shoot up a place like that? That does not make any bit of sense. But folks, get your questions in. Just gonna enjoy my cigar. Well, guys, I'm talking people that strictly and only practice karate. Now, if you're doing karate and you're transitioning to MMA, then yeah, you build your alpha credentials there by doing MMA. Why would I be... Joe, where have you been, man? I know you've been hanging out on Vegan Games' channel, but you haven't stopped by in a while. What's up to you? Of course I'm not vegan. Even my salads are not vegan. I always have to have a little meat on the table there, you know? Meat is protein, you know? You got your protein, you got creatine. Human beings can't exactly exist without essential nutrients. You got your B12s and stuff, your B vitamins. Can't get that from plants. You have to understand one thing, folks. When you are born, you are automatically a carnivore or a omnivore. You want to know why? Because the mama's titty milk is non-vegan, folks. All right, I will say that again. Tete milk for babies is not vegan. So you are not born a vegan. You choose to be a vegan. All right? So they can say whatever they want to say. PayPal address is up top. Streamlabs advance-tip. I know Tosh went and made one of those streaming videos like Ask Me Anything. You ain't Charlie Kirk or Ben Crowder. You better be quiet with that. Well, what does it cause? Change my mind or something like that? Oh, yeah. I have to say, Joel is the very first person that I actually timed out. He has the privilege there. And I'm like, dude, I had to cut the stream and then restart it because of that crap. I only timed him out for like 15 minutes. That's considered one of the lost episodes. Never to be seen again. Yeah, we not looking at no booty holes, folks. We're not doing that. No, I started back up the stream afterwards. We finished the stream. Now, folks, I will tell you this right now. This is an 8. This is an 8. However, she was arrested for disseminating indecent material to minors and endangering the welfare of a minor. Sending nudes to a 14-year-old student. My question is why? I mean, this is a fresh-looking piece of pie right here. Why are you messing with a little 14-year-old child? That's an 8, right? You're an 8. Now you're going to be some hairy woman. You're going to be Bertha's little slave in prison. Jesus Christ. What the heck is a CRISPR, KCB? What's CRISPR? Is that a chicken recipe or something? Is that fried chicken? Let me look this up. CRISPR is a revolutionary gene editing technology. Oh wow, that can cure AIDS. If that stuff actually works, that would take care of that and sickle cell. Dang. Have we really gotten that far? I mean, you can do a lot more with that. That is such a shame. A nice, good, fresh piece of pie, and she's gonna go to prison. I mean, folks, what makes someone like this do something like this? What is wrong with you? Does she not look good? She could have any man that she wants. She gets a 14-year-old boy. What is it with the... You know, children smell, folks. Alright? Children stank. Alright? I don't even like being around kids because they don't have good hygiene. And I mean, that's one thing me and my cousin Vegan Gaines have in common. We don't like children. I mean, I just don't. I'm sorry. I mean, children are the most unhygienic people ever, you know? And you're giving up the poon to a 14-year-old kid. I mean, I could understand that the kid probably has energy, but so does the great one. You can't pick up a 48-year-old man with a big one? I'm like, geez. Well, her eyes are dead inside because she knows she's in deep trouble. Well, that's my thing there, Quick Pump. I never understood this whole attraction. I mean, they smell. You know what I mean? They smell. Kids smell. Even when I was a kid, I felt like I smelled. That's why I wore Gravity cologne. Because I felt like I smelled. I always like to stay hygienic. I just don't get people these days. I mean, I don't see it. They're also annoying as well. Hey, Raw, I make sure my surfaces are clean. Now, there have been occasions to where, you know, you're leaving the club and sometimes things get out of hand. But when this happens there, you wipe and then you say, okay, you just blow me. And that's it. That takes care of it. Hey, sometimes even when you're nailing a woman, you get, I mean, if she hadn't douched under there, you know, the thing smells like fish and everything. So it ain't, you know, if a woman ain't clean down there, you're gonna, and it's like a skunk. You can't bathe yourself in the tomato juice in order to get that stuff off. She won't be cute for too much longer there, Raw. They're gonna tear her to pieces in prison. Fresh piece of pie, what a shame. Shame. I mean, she's a straight up 8. I don't get this. Nah, I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Dale? What do you think, Ryan? Am I not right? You ever been around a kid and they're just picking their noses and eating their boogers and stuff like that? That's also the reason why I don't do too many twinks neither. Twinks can be quite annoying. Here's the thing about twinks there, folks. They know that they're cute. They know they can get anything they want. So a lot of times they're they hustle money out of poor, unsuspecting guys. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. They will fleece older guys for so much money. Eric Breezy, what's up? My ex-wife says she's not cheating on her boyfriend, but if only to do her in the cornhole because she doesn't like doing her in the cornhole. Sounds like he needs one of those pocket masturbators or so forth. Folks, I will tell you this right now. Don't cheat on your wife. And be careful out there on these dating sites. Sometimes it's just better to jerk off. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, basically, the thing about it is about Tinder and Grindr and all these places. People want to know why I very rarely use Grindr. Unless I want to grind on someone. And even then, I absolutely hate it. You want to know why, folks? It's a waste of time. A lot of people spend hours and hours surfing Grindr. Fake pictures. They show pictures from them from 20 years ago. They ghost. They play with you. They ask for nudes and then they ghost you and stuff like that. It's the same with Tinder. Swipe and pass. I hate this swipe and pass culture that we have. I like meeting people up front, folks. You know, I want to meet someone face to face. Well, Nature Boy, whenever I was on Grindr, most of the time people just wanted pictures of me flexing my muscles. They treat you like a piece of meat. So, like I said, I think I was up there like 2 months ago for like maybe all of about 10 minutes, and then people started asking for pictures of me flexing my muscles. I'm like, Screw this, I'm jerking off. Pugman, what's up, dog? How you been? We was talking shit about you earlier. I'm just messing. We weren't doing that. But yeah, these dating sites are just straight up trash. It's better just to meet someone up front, you know. Just go to a regular club, you know, and meet up with people. That way you get the goods that you're shopping for. All right? Because people will put anything up. Remember when Boston Lloyd would insult people for physics, saying that he has the meat grinder look, or has been through the meat grinder? Yeah, I remember. He said some pretty nasty things about me too, so. Hey Ryan, who is that you just sent me? But yeah, folks, I'm just gonna do something different. I'm gonna train. I'm doing more cardio, working the business, and I'm feeling good. If I need to get my rocks off, I'll jerk off or do something else here that's non-human related there, you know. Jerk off, maybe get one of those little rubber I'm joking there, just jerk off if I need to. And honestly, I've not really felt the need to. When you get older, folks, when you've had all of these years of experience and stuff like that, and all these adventures and everything, and all of those memories and stuff, I'll be honest with you, there's nothing that I haven't done in bed, or in a car, or in a tree, or in a cemetery. That's right, the great one was pounding cheeks in a cemetery one time. Used a headstone as a bedboard. I told you, man. Straight up, I mean, when you talk about piss troopers, you ever done it on someone's grave? I mean, it wasn't anyone's grave. He wanted to do it on his mama's grave. So there I had his legs up and everything. Funny thing is that, you know, I'm looking at Mary Jane Evans, you know, 1955 to 2001. And he wants me to go and cornhole him on his mama's grave. Maybe I shouldn't have told that story, but it's out there anyway. But in any event, you know, that's what happens when you drink, folks. When you drink, you do all sorts of things. I'm glad the cops didn't get me. No. I didn't want. Look, Raw. Even if I took it up the wazoo, I would not bend over on the tombstone. Those things are not held together well. Could you imagine me cracking the tombstone and the thing falling over? I wouldn't want to desecrate a grave like that. Nah, just better to do it on the ground. Ground and pound. Like MMA. I Chuck Liddell at those butt cheeks there. Nature Boy, it was his mom's grave. It's not like it was some random person's grave. And like I said, that's what happened. That's the thing, folks. Sometimes when you drink, you do not make good decisions. All right? I was young. Now, I didn't think much of it. But now, 24 years later, you find out it isn't exactly a great idea to, you know, but yeah. The tree thing was very interesting too, so yeah. It was actually technically a tree house. But, oh well. I mean, I'm black. I mean, black people are natural from swinging from trees. Anyway. Man, I'm gonna get me another community strike for this stuff. No, folks, I don't encourage any of you guys to do it on a cemetery. Just don't do that. It's just wrong. If you've not done it on a cemetery, don't do it. I mean, and here's the reason being, folks, other than staring at the tombstone, you have to remember those bodies are rotting in a cemetery, so you could see the methane gas rising. That's not fog, that's methane gas, folks. And you could smell it. Know what I mean? But I had so many adventures when I was in my 20s. But now I'm an old man, sort of. No more adventures. Let's see who this whore is. Is that Wes Watson's new bitch? What's going on with the face? 7. The face is looking a little manly, if you ask me. She better be lucky I gave her a 7. It's foggy because there's methane gas rising from the rotting of the corpses. You can't do nothing about that. You just can't. The new Cassowary ones? Sure. Then I'll start the videos here, because it is 9 o'clock. So let's log into Centra AI. Now I'll have to pull up the specific work, folks. Because there's work material that I don't want you to see, of course. So Centra AI created all of these images. This here is it took me a while to tell it what to do specifically and what I wanted. This here is what it did originally. I had it change this one here, and each time you make the change, it edits it just a little bit. This one here is a modified version. Then we got this one. See, the AI, once you start instructing them on doing things, it just gets a little bit better. I needed the wine glass here. I had the cognac on this one. So, this is the original one. And then we started with the live one. So, so Centra AI, you tell them to keep redoing it and it finally gets it right. What's the significance? One day I was reviewing videos and Pugman showed me that video and I thought it was so funny. So now it's the mascot of my live streams, the Cassowary. Cassowary is the mascot of this channel. mean, everyone needs a folks, everyone needs a mascot. Someone that represents them. And cassowaries are such mean birds anyway. Yep, you gotta thank Pugman for the cassowary clip. I mean, I just saw it. I just got a laugh out of the thing. I mean, it's just so freaking awesome. And what I like about it, it's just so freaking dangerous. It looks funny, but the bird will just... the bird will fuck you up really bad.
When I wrote my Hanging Out column for Flex magazine in the early 1990s, my job was to spend time at Gold's Gym Venice, the mecca of bodybuilding, and report on what the greats of the day were doing. The appeal was obvious. Gold's wasn't just a gym, it was the world stage for bodybuilding. A place where you might see a Mr. Olympia training hard a few feet away from a young hopeful chasing his first contest win. But for me, the real fascination wasn't always in the champions going through their well-rehearsed routines. What drew me in were the experiments, and nobody in Gold's Gym was experimenting like Mike Mentzer. Mike was relentless in asking questions. How little exercise is required to stimulate growth, if it's the right kind, performed with the right effort? What happens when you take intensity beyond what most would even consider possible? He wasn't just training clients, he was conducting experiments on human performance. One day in early 1993, I saw him answer those questions in a way that I'll never forget. Mike put reigning Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates through a new protocol, what he later described in Flex magazine as hyper-reps, but which bore a striking resemblance to something he'd spoken of years earlier, infotonic training. That day at Gold's Gym, I had my camera in hand. What I witnessed remains the most brutally demanding workout I've ever seen. Mike had spoken about this idea as far back as 1980, when he recorded an audio lecture describing a new heavy-duty method he called infotonic training. In his words,
infotonic training is very similar to rest pause, in that each rep is a maximum effort, with the added difference, however, that the negative aspect of each rep is also maximum. In other words, you'll do your regular rest pause maximum repetition, but now what you're going to do as well is lower the weight very slowly with a little bit additional downward pressure being provided by your training partner. In most cases, the weight that allows for one maximum positive rep will be sufficient for the negative rep that follows. Where it is not, again, I suggest your partner provide additional downward resistance by pushing down on the weight while you fight it up. Your partner must be very careful, however, and not give so much downward pressure that you lose control and hurt yourself. He has to be very attuned to what you're doing, and if he's not, he may provide too much pressure and cause an injury. Keep in mind that the key to generating more and more effort is to make each muscular contraction as severe and as intense as possible.
That's the essence of what I saw that day with Dorian. Every rep a maximum positive and a maximum negative. Nothing wasted, nothing left in reserve.
Nautilus equipment was so awesome. Still is. It's just I like the older stuff because I don't know, it's just a little nostalgia.
Gold's Gym in the early 1990s was always alive with energy. The clang of plates, the smell of chalk, the sound of lifters straining. It was the heartbeat of bodybuilding. On any given day, you could see pros like Sean Ray or Flex Wheeler training alongside weekend warriors.
I think it has more to do with the chain smoking than really the amphetamines. That chain smoking pretty much killed him and Ray. I mean, smoking in moderation is one thing, but they were chain smoking. I mean, they were a pair of smokestacks. They were freaking Laurel and Hardy. They smoked like, yeah. They were like two big giant chimneys.
Each set punctuated by the thud of dumbbells on rubber mats. But that day felt different. When people noticed Mike's...
Metzer and Ray? Heck no. They've been dead for like almost... They died in like 2001. They actually died 2 weeks apart from each other.
Setting up the Icarian incline
Or actually, excuse me, they died 3 days apart from each other.
press with an astonishing 600 pounds, they drifted closer. A small crowd formed, including seasoned pros who normally wouldn't give a second look at someone else's set. There was a buzz of curiosity and disbelief. What was Menser about to put the reigning Mr. Olympia through? I had my camera at the ready. Dorian settled into the incline press, stoic as always. He wasn't one for theatrics. His demeanor was calm, almost mechanical, even with 600 pounds hanging over him. With spotters assisting, he began at the top. He lowered the weight with control, then pressed it back up with every ounce of strength he had. Immediately, without...
Amphetamines ruined his mental health. The chain smoking ruined his physical health. So you're right on that. So this is a two-pronged thing. That the chain smoking just destroyed them.
Pause, he began the descent again, this time agonizingly slow. His muscles quivered, veins bulged, and his jaw clenched as he resisted every inch of the negative. That was one infotonic rep. A maximum positive followed immediately by a maximum negative. At the bottom, the spotters stripped about 15% of the weight, leaving 510 pounds. Dorian rested only a few seconds, just long enough to snatch half a breath, before pressing again. Positive, negative, torture. This cycle repeated 4 times. By the 4th, his usually stoic face betrayed the truth. He was in agony. His entire frame trembled as he fought the final negative, until at last he let the weight slam home with a grunt of exhaustion. When it was over, he admitted openly he had never felt such depth of exhaustion, such a pump, such a total sense of muscular stimulation in his chest. Around us, the onlookers murmured in awe. Even in Gold's Gym, where extremes were normal, this was something else entirely. Next came the Nautilus curl machine, performed one arm at a time. The stack was fully loaded, 150 pounds, plus an extra 25-pound plate pinned on. Dorian began with his left arm, completing a maximum positive repetition. At the top contracted position, however, that weight wasn't heavy enough for his negative strength, so Mike leaned in, applying just enough downward resistance on the stack so that Dorian could no longer hold statically, forcing him into a slow, grueling negative. The extra plate was then removed, and Dorian, again with Mike's assistance, completed another all-out positive. Once he reached the top, Mike pressed down carefully on the stack, giving Dorian another punishing negative. This sequence continued for about 4 reps, each one a maximum effort on the positive and the negative. By the end, Dorian's biceps were swollen to the point of bursting, his face etched with grim determination. When that arm was finished, Dorian didn't immediately sit back down. Instead, he stood, breathing heavily, pacing back and forth in front of the machine for a moment, collecting himself, shaking his arms loose, trying to summon the will for what was next. Then, when he was ready, he sat back down and repeated the process for his right arm. Maximum positives, Mike-assisted negatives, 4 brutal cycles until there was simply nothing left. When it was over, he described the bicep curls the same way he had the incline presses, brutally demanding, utterly exhausting, unlike anything he had ever done before. But the story didn't end at the machines. Immediately after finishing the curls, Dorian and Mike invited me to join them in a side room at Gold's that had been set up for posing practice. It was just the 3 of us, Mike, Dorian, and me with my camera. Still flushed and engorged from the workout, Dorian began to pose. I quickly brought my camera out and caught him hitting his poses, lat spread, side chest. The muscles seemed to expand with every shot. I watched Mike's reaction.
And Dorian is just straight up huge. And look at Metzer, just all proud in the background like, yeah, I did that.
As much as Dorian's posing. His eyes widened with each pose, his expression one of astonishment. Mike, who rarely showed visible surprise, was clearly impressed, maybe even a little overwhelmed. He muttered to me at one point, almost under his breath, "Look at that." I snapped photo after photo, trying to capture what felt like a once-in-a-lifetime moment. The reigning Mr. Olympia, pumped to the absolute limit, flexing under the gaze of Mike Menser, one of bodybuilding's greatest thinkers, who had just...
You gotta understand, this is the early 90s. This is basically the era of the proto-mass monster, in other words. And Dorian Yates started the whole thing. Lee Haney was massive, but you know, he still had that very lean waist there and the vacuum pose. When Dorian Yates started winning the Mr. Olympia, that was the beginning of the era of the mass monsters.
Just guided him through the most intense workout of his life. That day I was fortunate enough to witness it, and the images I captured still remind me of the truth revealed in that room. When every contraction is taken to its absolute limit, the results can be extraordinary.
That's a good video. It's always good to have something educational up here. Definitely appreciate you putting that up there, KCB. That's a good video.
And as a private military contractor. Now, what that means, you guys can draw your own conclusions. It's not something I'm necessarily...
Dude, I told you last time we need the timestamp the good stuff there, KCB. I'm going to leave this up here so that way you can edit it. You know, that thing's like 41 minutes here. But I told you that yesterday. Timestamps. Ryan, put up a message that says timestamps for long videos. We need timestamps. But I'll leave that one up there until you put those up there, and then we'll be good.
She also says that he broke into her house, she called the cops, but the cops didn't do anything. Well, in this audio...
Well, then she ain't telling the entire story.
Okay, this shows how scared she really was.
He's been worse than ever, and then, like, I have to lock myself in the room, or he'll try to, like, break in, and I'm just ready to go.
Waking me up at all hours and causing a big fight right before I go to sleep.
Wait a minute, hold on. I was waiting for the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
In the room, or he'll try to, like, break in, and
Oh, looks like Bravo has a new sponsor.
I'm just ready to go.
Waking me up at all hours and causing a big fight.
And this is a reminder, folks, make sure when your cigar is done, twist and not jab.
Right before I go to sleep, so I'm angry, and then waking me up, like just doing ignorant shit. Moving forward, I don't know how it's gonna be because I don't want to raise my daughters near this person anymore. So he would just stay at home and literally sit.
I've seen some crazy things in my life.
It's put up at the top there, Ski Mask. Once you click on it there, it'll show the links for it. The Streamlabs Ski Mask is the PayPal, because if you use the YouTube one, they take at least like 60% of the money.
But this is some crazy shit. So this war between Wes Watson, that three-haired comb-over piece of shit, and his girlfriend, the one he turned into a blow-up doll, Angie, right? It's reached levels that I didn't think was possible. I haven't seen a shit show like this since Ronnie and Sammy on the Jersey Shore. Do you guys remember those assholes? She leaves, she comes back, he blows up her phone every minute, every hour of the day like a little crazy ex-bitch does. He tries to break in her house, she calls the cops on him, and all of this, why? Because he just wanted his dick sucked and to be greeted a certain way. We're at the house, and I'm on my...
Doggy, how are you? How are you, Doggy?
Doggy with a $500 donation. Well, doing a lot better now there. Definitely appreciate that. That covers expenses for the channel. So y'all folks, y'all give a round for Doggy here. As far as how I'm doing, like I said, I'm taking a hiatus from meeting up and everything. No Sopo for months. We're getting work done. A lot of things that I've been mostly doing is just reworking the websites and finishing up the Van's medical site. But other than that, things have been going well. Definitely appreciate that. No, that's Doggy there, Ryan.
My dick sucked, and I can't get my dick sucked, and I'm pissed. And her, she just wanted the money. I've never seen some shit like this in my life, and the thing is, they're posting this all on social media for the whole world to see. But you guys know me, and I wanted to know what was really going on behind the scenes, and I have my ways of getting shit that nobody is supposed to see.
I have to lock myself in the room, or he'll try to break in.
When I saw it and I heard it, I don't know to tell you guys to go get a pizza or 3 bags of popcorn, cause wait until I show you this shit.
He keeps me sleep deprived. He doesn't let me sleep. He's waking me up at all hours and causing a big fight right before I go to sleep. So I'm angry and then waking me up, like just doing ignorant shit. Moving forward, I don't know how it's going to be because I don't want to raise my daughters near this person anymore. So he would just stay at home and literally sit in the room and wait for me to have 5 minutes alone so that way he could be like, I want my dick sucked. I want to have sex. I want this. I want that. And I'm like, dude, I haven't had 5.
I don't know what his stack is, Raw. I don't know what Bravo is taking. I mean, I'll ask him one day here and check and see.
Seconds, and he just sits in the room and you can feel his heavy energy, and I'm like,
he probably wasn't a major cokehead, but with all the stress and everything going on with him losing money, about to go to prison and everything like that, he's cutting loose there, unfortunately.
I can be so mad at Wes.
I mean, he's doing TRT, but I'm not sure what his cycle is or so forth.
For being a piece of shit to me.
So first, you know this asshole Peggy. We used to make fun of that mole. He had this huge gross mole on his shoulder, and we're all like, this guy's a millionaire. Why isn't he chopping that shit off? He's filming it, popping it in front of people's eyes, and we don't want to see it. And then he went and cut it off because he got insecure about it, and then he didn't like being bald, so he went and put this tattoo on his head that looked like a 3-hair comb over. We made fun of that, and then he goes and puts another one to fix it, and he ended up looking like RoboCop. Well, remember those white pants, those skin-tight pantyhose, bitch-like pants he used to wear that girls normally wear, those white pants to show off their ass, but he ain't got ass, so I don't know what he's trying to show off. Well, we made fun of him for that one. Well, you know what he's wearing now? He's wearing big, white, baggy pants now because he got tired of all the shit he was getting, and that got me thinking, how did he even put up those white pants? Because if, we tried to put those up, it would hurt. But then I remembered he's got a micro machine in those pants, so that shit didn't matter for him. So after my last video, you guys remember when I showed this war starting to erupt between him and Angie, right? Well, 15 minutes after my video, remember, he's a fan. He watches all my...
Well, if he's going to argue the case all the way, Ryan, the judge is going to throw the book at him. He's going to do at least 4 or 5 years. He needs to negotiate, and he'll probably get at least 1 year. But even if he spends 1 year in prison, it's over with. Everything is all over it with. He'll be in the same position as PJ Braun is there. He won't be allowed to work in these industries or anything. Well, he probably won't have anything like that, but it would be pretty much the end of his business if he does any period of time.
My videos, right? Well, 15 minutes after, he posted this.
You guys, when you see people online who make videos about other men all day, just sit them down real quick and say, it's okay, bro. Like, one day you're going to get your own life. You don't have to worry about Wes. Like, just work really hard, and maybe one day, like, people will give a fuck about you. You don't have to talk about other men. Like, you could be your own man. You could be your own man one day.
But let me tell you something, Peggy. When I'm done with this video, by the time you watch it, right, you're going to realize why I don't care if people care about me and my personal life. Because it's not making you look like your own man. It's making you look like a crazy little bitch.
You could be your own man. You could be your own man one day.
So as I was saying, since my last video, things have gotten worse for these two assholes. Angie left, and then she came back.
So you guys, are we getting back together or aren't we? Stay tuned.
So yesterday I went over to Wes's house to pick up some things right before his group call, and we had some food there. Loon had some French fries. He recorded, put it online, and I wasn't ready to be online. I didn't want to do any of that because he wants to change and flip the narrative. We're not back together, but that doesn't mean that I want to be, I'm trying to keep things cordial because he's somebody that I do care about, and he's going through a lot, and I want to be there for him. And it's real life, you guys. Like, he might be going away. I can't just turn my back completely when I might not even see him for a while.
Y'all believe this load of mess is coming from her? The minute he goes to prison, she's going to be spreading those legs for somebody else. It always happens. Folks, women ain't loyal. I mean, if she is loyal, then I will freaking lick the doo-doo out of her butthole. Because that's a loyal woman. If she stays with Wes Watson. I don't think that's going to happen, folks. I will risk that I will lick the doo-doo out of her ass if she actually stays with Wes Watson afterwards. I swear. I will call her up and like, hey, I appreciate you staying with Wes Watson. I'll lick the doo-doo from your asshole. Just bend over and you can even eat peanut butter and beans before I lick your asshole out.
Wow. So it puts me in a very tough situation, and I'm just trying to navigate it in the highest and best ways, and keep things cordial.
She said she came back because she cared about him going to prison. She wanted to be there for him. But when I show you this, do you think it was for that or for something else?
I don't know. He might go to jail, or I don't know. I really hope he does, just so he could get his fucking lesson. But he withholds money from me, and then if I don't, and then he'll say weird things like, You didn't kiss me when you walk out of the room. That's it. I'm not helping you. I'm not doing anything for you. You can't do a simple thing of kissing me when you walk out the room or greet me when I come in. And I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking retarded. I'm sick of somebody trying to put me down when I'm trying so hard to take care of kids, to fucking take care of this retarded ass guy's weird sexual needs while he's disrespecting me.
So after that, Wes started going crazy. Who knows what influence?
It makes you wonder who leaked this audio. I mean, seriously, who leaked the audio? This was intentionally done. Audio just doesn't leak, all right?
Once he was on the right, he called her phone every minute, every hour of the day, not just on one number, because, you put one number, you block it. He used one of those apps to make another number and bomb her shit again, like those crazy exes do. And then the texts that actually went through, you know what he's telling her? He's telling her he's going to give that money that he knows she needs to another girl. And then he takes pictures of himself with girls nude and sends it to her.
I was like, dude, this guy's fucking stupid.
This is a sign of being pussy whipped, folks. Pussy whipped.
As fuck and psychologically ill. And I was like, you're a retard, dude. A fucking dumbass. I hope he overdoses, dies, or kills
self. Like, I don't know.
Whoa!
Like, just, I don't give a shit. I really don't care whether he lives or dies. I don't want anything to do with him. And even if he has some...
Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Mother bitch, and he goes and buys her a $10,000 purse on purpose in front of me to try to get me upset. I don't care. I just don't want that bitch to touch me again. Like, to have sex with me, to look at me, to have me in his life for anything. No, I don't want anything to do with this dude anymore.
Now, remember my last video when I said it was sad? And I'm going to say again, it's sad to see anyone go back to their old habits, old vices, right? Because it can ruin your life really fast. Very hard to come out of it, right? Well, the last video we alluded to it, and Angie also alluded to it. Well, now, in this clip again that nobody's supposed to hear, she confirms it.
Like, I can't live here anymore. You're doing drugs. You're fucking with me all day, every day. I don't want Loon to pick up your baggies of cocaine. You flip out, like, as his nose is bleeding. And then I'll go in the baby likes to go in his room to watch TV. And then I'll go in there just to sit there and watch her because he does cook and then he licks it and puts it on his gums and all that stuff. And then I don't want him to go kiss my baby. So I've just been trying to save up money or hustle him for what, not even hustle him, dude, just fucking doing whatever I can just to have him give me money. It's sick. I can't stand him. He's a real piece of shit.
So this is where things get really dark. You remember how on Instagram, I'm going to show these here on the screen, she was showing how he has a gun. She's scared to go back to the house because of it, because she doesn't know what he's going to do. She also says that he broke into her house. She called the cops, but the cops didn't do anything. Well, in this audio, okay, this shows how scared she really was.
He's been worse than ever. And then, like, I have to lock myself in the room or he'll try to, like, break in. And I'm just ready to go. I don't care what happens. I'm good, but I don't care. I just want to be done.
So now we've all seen how this shit show has played out in front of all of us online. And you can obviously tell this is a toxic relationship. And for some of us, maybe most of us, we've had toxic relationships in our life. And we've learned that if you try to go back, the same shit happens or even worse things happen. So usually we learn from them and we try to avoid them. This is a case of a toxic relationship. But the difference between this one and most of ours is that she wanted something more from him. She didn't want to go and be with him because she loved him, right? She wanted more from him. Money. And then him, on the other hand, what did he want? That poor guy just wanted his dick sucked and a girl to pretend she loves him because of how insecure he is. So you take those two things, right? And you should have known that things were going to go toxic because it was doomed from the start, you assholes.
Your insecurity and constant need for validation when you're trying to like devalue me every other minute, dude, shut the fuck up, man. That shit doesn't work on me. It just irritates me with you.
Just because you think you understand frequency and vibration, all this shit, shut the fuck up. Some bitch right now goes, well, we attract what we are, so how's he vibrating? Talking about Rob. Rob's the realest motherfucker. How's he vibrating? Bitch, you need your vibrating, you fucking ugly bitch.
And you want love, and you're not gonna get it that way. I'm sorry that you only have to have money in order to validate yourself.
Go read another book, you fucking bird brain fuck. Like, dude, who taught women how to think they knew some shit? This is what the...
Just horrible. That's just horrible.
The problem is, you girls shouldn't be trying to know some shit. You're gonna strain your little brains. You ain't done nothing. Show me one woman who's done something. Put it in my DM. One that's done anything, like made any type of money, financed any type of anything, and did anything that wasn't just her saying she felt better. Because you said you did something doesn't mean shit.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like on my video.
Bravo! Bravo for Bravo. leaked audio. He went and she went and sent that to Bravo. Bravo's a lucky man. I mean, 123,000 views in one day. That's easy money right there. Let me see if KCB has put in the timestamps yet. Oh, here comes the Cuban crash.
Hey, you deserve credit, man. That's right. When someone has a YouTube channel that has so many people watching and everyone knows who they are, they say the Cuban or the Cuban conservative or whatever, they gotta be talking about me, right? Little old me. Little old me.
Isn't he back on Instagram now?
You think I'm that fucking stupid? Let me know when he says my full fucking name. Send me the fucking clip. Other than that, stop mentioning him and fuck off with it.
What? Who is he talking about? Is he talking about me?
Like I'm that fucking stupid. HITO, it's actually badass that you like 38 Special. That was the detective undercover gangster go-to cartridge for...
Why is Dubs messing with Cuban for? I mean... Why is Cuban messing with them for? Oh, boy. Yes, Ryan, it looks like someone told him that. I wonder who.
Decades. Rod Tia calls his Diak a brown mound.
Yeah, I know Lamar just went live. I saw it.
Nacho Boy, quote from father. Rod, a brown mound ready to pound. Were you ever a Dale Chance fan? Be honest, Tio. No.
Is he playing Taste the Biscuit? Oh, I love that song. That was a...
Does he mention my... No, you know what, Metanator, I'm not reading one more fucking comment from you until you send me the fucking clip where I know that he's talking about me. He mentions my government fucking name. I'm telling you, fuck off with it. If you don't fucking like it, get fucking motivated then. Get motivated. Get on the fucking IG. Go to the Cuban 73. Send me the fucking clip. Enough. Enough. I'm not that fucking stupid. Not your boy. I was a Dale Chance fan until his disappointing Ruby performance. Chuck E. Cheese Ranch, hold on loosely, Tia. Raw Rod, no need for offensive eye movements regarding Dale.
So his play songs is Erica and Biscuit? How weird. Ryan, check your messages.
Chuck E. Cheese Ranch, hold on loosely, Tia. Raw Rod, no need for offensive eye movements regarding Dale. Sorry, Dale is such a clown to everyone. This motherfucker really thinks I'm that fucking stupid. I'm a fucking nobody. One more fucking comment. Watch, you'll be the same thing as fucking all those other motherfuckers that I've kicked off of here. The only thing you can do is watch and you can't fucking comment. You think I'm that fucking stupid? Get motivated, nigga. Get motivated. Go on fucking IG, find the Cuban 73, send me the fucking clips. He mentions my fucking government name to that because I am not the only one that is referred to.
Ski Mask with the $10 donation. Definitely appreciate that there. It's not going to come up here, folks, but I appreciate the donation there, Ski Mask.
As conservative Cuban or the Cuban. Fuck all the way off. I'm done with it. One more time. One more fucking time. I'm done with it. I'm going outside to smoke a cigarette.
Guess his wife doesn't allow him to smoke indoors, but man, I wonder why. I can't figure out why Dubs just started cutting into Cuban for. That doesn't make any bit of sense. We'll have to investigate that mystery, folks, on the next episode of Scooby-Doo.
Let me show you guys the
240. Lately my cousin's been raging a little bit. I'm gonna have to talk to him there. So he's actually streaming right now. I think he's on his 5th hour or something.
Everyone is such a retarded fucking pussy.
So he's reviewing Dr. Paul Saladino's shorts here. Nice.
Look, I'm convinced, like, almost literally everybody, 99% of men should be injecting testosterone. There's the rare occasion where you might see a guy whose testosterone is at, like...
That is definitely not true. Not everyone should be injecting testosterone. Only when you get much older and your T levels drop when you can consider taking TRT. But that's part of nature. For someone that's in their 20s or early 30s, there is no need for you to take testosterone. Your body's still working just fine.
1,200 naturally. But 99% of men should just be injecting testosterone. The data is pretty clear on this. You get the most physical and mental health benefits between about 1,500 to 2,000 nanograms per deciliter testosterone. Men are just more psychologically healthy, and they also build more muscle mass, have more energy, higher sex drive, all that good shit when your test is between 1,500 to 2,000. All you need to do for that is inject about 20 to 30 milligrams testosterone per day.
This is really bad advice there, and you're really not supposed to be giving this advice on YouTube neither. You never really give dosages. I don't know why he's telling people that. That's ridiculous and really bad advice.
It's just not a big fucking deal. So I like all this bullshit about just eat a steak. I think his testosterone is only like 650 or something the last time he got it checked. It's not very high. Most like Brian Turner, I think he got his testosterone checked. He was at like 640 or 660. I was at 540 last time I got it checked.
The last time before I went on TRT, folks, my T-level test was under 100. I think it was like 60 or so forth. I literally no longer produce any testosterone, folks. I literally don't. And it's probably because of the stuff I took back in 2009. It just slowly killed that, the endocrine system, the pituitary glands, and everything. So the difference between me taking TRT is because I simply can no longer produce testosterone, or at least very little. My cousin, however, in my opinion, I think he's compensating for a vegan diet there. Plus, he's been talking about getting on the stuff for years. And once you start thinking about the stuff, you're gonna do it eventually. And I've said that for a couple of years. Eventually, he was gonna get on TRT, but I'm actually surprised at all the stuff that he's taken, and he needs to be a lot more careful.
I think John Venus might have gotten it tested once, and I think he was at around 700. Like, it's just normal. Most men who are, like, fairly fit and healthy tend to be around 600. So, like, you're just not going to be able to do anything to get your test to, like, over 1,000. Some people can do some, like, dumb shit where if they eat a very high amount of calcium-containing foods, like dairy, that can drive up your sex hormone-binding globulin, and then your body compensates by producing more total tests, but it doesn't do anything because your SHBG is so high. So just inject testosterone. Like, it's fucking stupid. There's no fucking point. It's just gay retarded shit. BG's advice is always a little unhinged. It's not. Like, you don't even realize, man, until you just inject test, you don't know what you're missing out on.
I'm not missing out on anything. I take exactly just the minimum amount that I need. I may end up taking more, but sometimes more is not better.
I'm going to make it super simple for you. Draw a triangle, a square, and a circle. Nigger.
Alright.
That's very bad advice, and honestly, my cousin should not be giving out this type of advice. YouTube doesn't actually like it when people give out advice on steroids, and yeah, you're not supposed to be giving out advice on drugs. You can discuss them in particular, but once you start giving out doses like that, then you're promoting drug use, basically. So, folks, if you start a live stream, don't do that. And not only that, his advice is very, very, very bad. Not every man needs to be on steroids here. Not every man needs to be on TRT. If your doctor recommends you take it, then take it. If your doctor doesn't recommend taking it, don't take it. I mean, seriously.
In this video, I'm going to explain why it isn't a double standard for men to be called studs when they're promiscuous versus women who are called sluts when they're promiscuous. I'm going to break down 3 broad categories that explain why it's not a double standard. 1 is biological, 2 is evolution, and 3 is cultural. Let's get into it. Despite what feminists tell you,
I mean, I fully agree with you there, Chuck E. Cheese, but you know, I don't believe in the wanton use of, because what my cousin's doing, he was taking a general amount, but every time I hear him, he's thinking about adding other stuff. He's now taking a GLP-1 and stuff. It's a slippery slope there, Chuck E. Cheese. That's my only concern. Because whenever he originally started, I thought, okay, that's a decent cycle for him to start out with, you know. And literally speaking, not a month later, he's up there putting more stuff in, you know. And he's adding additional stuff.
promiscuity is much riskier.
Oh, wow. If he's a former stock trader, That's a rough job there.
For women. This is because of the convex versus concave shape of the genitals. For example, HIV is
Well, Nick Trigili took it beyond that there, Quick Pump. There's a couple of other things that he actually did, so it takes way more than that to get banned off YouTube. The stuff that Nick Trigili was doing, yeah, it went far beyond that.
Transmitted from men to women.
One other thing you can't do is you can't try to sell gear on the site and then pretend like it's TRT or so forth. Or you can't do that.
At about 4 times the rate that it's transmitted from women to men. And it's the same for herpes. About 50% of women catch UTIs, urinary tract infections, over their lifetime. Almost no men get UTIs. And this is because of the shorter urethra in women as compared to men. Infections like chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis are way more dangerous for women. It can lead to infertility.
Y'all, folks, y'all look at Chuck E. Cheese's post. He is 100% exactly right about GLPs. Y'all look at Chuck E. Cheese's post. That's why you shouldn't go on GLP ones here.
Fertility, and a lot of these STIs can be transmitted to their newborn child or lead to complications in giving birth. HPV can lead to cervical cancer in women, but have no symptoms in men. When men and women have a casual hookup, they're not taking the same amount of risk. Like, let's compare it to wrestling. Would you wrestle someone who's multiple weight classes heavier than you? And whenever you wrestle, you start out in the losing submission position? Like, what is your chance of winning? And what is your chance of getting choked out in that situation? Well, that's what women are doing when they have casual hookups. They're deciding to hang out with a stranger behind multiple locked doors, the front door, the bedroom door, in a dark room, and they're wrestling with someone who's multiple weight classes heavier than them. In every sexual position, they're losing, except for cowgirl. So how is that a smart thing to do? You know how easily we can get choked out in those situations? And the last point is that women risk pregnancy and men don't. So that's another obvious asymmetry between the genders. It isn't just the risk of having to get pregnant and then suffer for 9 months and have a child and then having to take care of this child for the rest of your life. It's also the risk of having to get an abortion, which is bad for your body. And, you know, a lot of women have trauma from having undergone this procedure. So those are risks.
Look, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. Women in life there, folks, and this is why I don't believe in white privilege. When you are born, regardless of race and everything like that, you have advantages and you have disadvantages. You play the cards that you get, basically. With women, I mean, when it comes to down there, they don't have to go look for guys. I mean, guys are going to be looking for them. Literally speaking, a woman, if they find the right guy, they will take care of her for the rest of her entire life. They'll pay her bills, do her nails, and do all this other stuff. That's one of the advantages of being a woman, you know. Because men want to take care of them, shower them with gifts and everything. Nobody has showered the great one with gifts ever. I've never gotten flowers from anyone. Nobody's ever given me flowers. No one's ever paid my light bill. No one's ever paid my rent when I used to have it, you know, and stuff like that. So, and even being black gives me advantages, you know. Naturally speaking, because I have those slave genes and stuff where they were breeding black people together, I have superior genes there. You know, it's easier for me to build muscle, you know. I'm black and I have a bigger dick too. So every race has advantages and disadvantages. And the biggest thing is, folks, you don't know what the next person has gone through, you know, when it comes to white privilege. There are some white people that have had a very not privileged life there. So, you know, how can you go up to a white person who has had it pretty rough all their life and say that they're privileged all because they're white? It doesn't make any bit of sense. Nobody is privileged. You deal with the cards that you were born with, okay? That's the way life is. You're not everyone's going to get the silver spoon. And folks, even with the folks with the silver spoon, they're going to have internal problems of their own, you know. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. There's no white privilege or anything like that. And I don't feel so sorry for women or so forth as far as diseases are concerned. They could simply stop that by closing their freaking legs. Period. You don't have to put out for every swinging dick, you know. You can always find a dog at 3 a.m. in the morning, but that don't mean that you got to grab the bone that the master throws at you. Period. Non-negotiable. Let's continue this.
As well. So these 3 points, the risk of STDs being asymmetric, the risk of actually taking part in the hookup because one side is multiple weight classes bigger than the other, and every sexual act is basically the man winning if they're wrestling, and the risk of pregnancy make it such that the act of the casual hookup is so much more risky for the woman, and therefore the woman is judged way more harshly for taking part in such a reckless act, whereas the man not so much. When a woman sleeps around with multiple men over a 9-month period, she can only have one child. But if a man sleeps around with multiple women over a 9-month period, he can have multiple children. Our DNA only wants to survive and replicate. So from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense for women to seek one strong and reliable partner, and for men to try to sleep around as much as possible. So the whole mating dance is men and women negotiating these two somewhat conflicting interests and meeting in the middle. So a valued woman can get one man to stay loyal to her and provide and protect for her because she's seen as valuable to him and he wants her to be the mother of his children. But a woman who is less valued to the man will be cut off after sex or be a mistress at best. So in this...
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad. I mean, people ask if I wish I was born white. Hell no. I would get in trouble for so much racist stuff that comes out of me. You say, I could say racist stuff and people won't think that I'm racist here because I'm black. That's another thing that I hate most. I can go up and walk and call someone the C word and people wouldn't even think I'm racist. They was like, he's been taken down by the man or something like that, you know? So, yeah.
Way, a woman who manages to get the commitment from one strong and responsible man is respected.
Yeah, if I was born white, I would be canceled immediately.
But a woman who has to put herself out there and have sex with multiple men but doesn't get commitment in return is seen as undesirable. To get an idea of how the role of sex differs between the genders, consider that the most kids that a woman has ever had is 69 kids, and it was by a Russian peasant who was miserable, but the most kids credited to a man is thousands and thousands, and these are by the most powerful conquerors in the world, you know, Genghis Khan, Fidel Castro, and so on. So it gives you an idea of the way reproductive success is different between the genders. All right, now let's talk about the risk of unknown parentage and paternity fraud. If a woman sleeps around with multiple men who are monogamous to her, then we don't know who the biological parent is of the child. However, if a man sleeps around with multiple women who are all monogamous to him, then we do know who the biological father is for all of these different women. If a man ends up raising a child that isn't his own, it can be very costly to him. And promiscuous women can lead to unknown parentage. Since DNA tests and effective contraceptives are a recent invention, society developed a vested interest in shaming promiscuous women. And this is one of the reasons why the slut stigma came to be. Now, times have changed, but long-standing traditions that are molded over centuries, they're not going to change overnight. So you can understand why these slut stigmas still exist. So for those 3 reasons explained, biology, evolution, and the culture around unknown parentage and potential paternity fraud, you can understand how it's much easier for women to sleep around than for men. There's simply going to be a strong supply and demand imbalance for short-term mating. And you see that evidence through things like dating apps where 70% are men and 30% are women. And at bars, there'll be ladies' nights, which, you know, you could argue that's gender discrimination, but of course no one complains about it. It's because they need to get more women into the bar because there's such an imbalance. Most nights are sausage fests. Culturally, almost all women get drinks for free at the bar because the imbalance has to favor women to incentivize them to even come out. So even within the setting of the bar, the vast majority of the men there are open to a one-night stand, and the vast majority of the women are not. Not to mention, at any given moment, about 17% of women are on their period, and they're not going to be interested in having a one-night stand that night either. So this leads
Ew, gross.
to a paradigm of men desperately chasing women and women selectively choosing men. So you can see how it's challenging for a man to get laid. It requires interpersonal skills, tact, thick skin, intelligence, humor, trustworthiness, good looks, and so on. But for a woman, just existing is enough. And this is why promiscuity being measured differently between the genders isn't a double standard at all. For one gender, it's incredibly challenging and it's an accomplishment. Wow. You jump through all those hoops and you manage to get laid. That's impressive. And for the other gender, it's irresponsible. It's reckless. You're taking so many risks and you're just indulging in short-term pleasure, oftentimes for favors. He bought me drinks, he drove me around, I guess I should put out. It's like you're basically, but you're bartering for goods and services rather than actual money. So that's why promiscuous women are called. And this is why the quote, a key that can unlock any lock is a master key, but a lock that can be unlocked by any key is a broken lock. This is why the quote is so timeless, because it isn't just about the key representing, the convex shaped penis and the lock being the concave vagina. It's about the fact that the key unlocks the lock, and a man's sexual goal is to
I'll tell you this in a minute.
Unlock the lock, whereas the woman's goal is to be a good lock. Men and women have different sexual goals. So I hope that makes sense, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Take care. In this video, I'm going to...
Kaizen, let me tell you about IFBB Pro Don Allison. Basically speaking, the person that he's married with, Brandon, I called him G-string xylophone on RX Muscle. He was... I'll tell you right now, you never know how marriage actually goes. Those two, Brandon and Don Allison, IFBB Pro, Don Allison, they basically met on the RX Muscle forums and talked back and forth with one another. And they talked for a year or 2 years. And then finally, they decided to get married. But here's the thing, folks. They never actually met each other until their wedding day. I want you to hear this again. They never met each other until their wedding day. And 15 years later, they are still married. I think they got married in 2010, and they're doing awesome. So, like I said before, it doesn't matter the circumstances of getting married. It's just a matter of how things went. Like I said, I was married for 7 years. And the way we met was that I think I was in Legal Shield and I was selling stuff at the time and I was marketing down there. I wasn't able to get home in time because I was having car issues or something. I don't remember what it was, but I decided to stay overnight. So I got a hotel. And I went out to Scandals and I just met him out on the floor. And then one thing led another. And we're married 2 years later. And then we're together for another 7 years. So, you never know how things happen there, But literally speaking, they never met each other until they were married. And their whole relationship is all based on conversations in the RX Muscle forum. I kid you not. You can ask them that. The thing about it is, if it works here, Yeah. They are... the fact that they're married is one thing... But they are literally all together. And one thing that Brandon, he was a freaking chicken bone, basically. And once they got married, I did tell him, I'm like, you're married to Dawn Allison. And you know who her ex-husband was. Massive power lifter. He's been gone he had a heart attack back in 99 or so forth. I'm like, Brandon, she's gonna turn you into a monster, and, well, this is what he looks like now after being with Dawn for all these years. So he held up pretty good, actually. I'm actually kind of surprised. Literally, Dawn turned him into a monster. So, like I said, if it works, it works here. I never judged the actual relationship on things here because, and like I said, we didn't get along at the time there, but this is what he looked like before he got married to Dawn. This is him before he ever got married. And I already knew Brandon would end up looking like that other picture. Just for being around Dawn. I mean, you saw that. Now you see this here. So, yeah. If you're around an IFBB Pro, you're gonna get huge. And Dawn, I'll tell you right now, I would hate to train with her. I mean, she is completely dedicated to bodybuilding. I mean, those two wake up at 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning, so they actually match each other in terms of intensity. And like I said, it all started because, yeah, super gains. It all started from just some simple internet conversations on the forum, and they never met until their wedding day. Can you imagine that? Back and forth conversations with each other leads to marriage, and not even marriage. I mean, he eventually moved to Canada, you know, of course, naturally and everything. So, yeah, that happened, folks. So, never judge, you know, exactly how a marriage goes here. So, you just never know what the end result is. It's a finicky thing about getting married. Like I said, I shouldn't have met my ex ever, but I just happened to. Sometimes it's just a matter of circumstances. And he didn't live in Asheville. He lived in Silva. And I lived in Greenville, South Carolina, and we just happened to meet due to some certain circumstances. Maybe the keys to lining up in the universe or something, you know. That's what I love so much about the interesting things of life there. Sometimes the universe, God, sometimes, you know, whatever you believe in, Hindu, Buddha, or whatever, sometimes people just inexplicably just cross paths with each other and things just take off, you know?
Hello? Oh, Joni, are you there? My sweet Joni, please be okay. I never told you this, but you pegged me even better than my Uncle Mike did.
Hello? My boy Hemingway, is that you?
Joni, our dog's lying on the floor in a pile of bloody diarrhea. What do I do?
What? Are you kidding? How did this happen?
Well, while you were gone, I flew off to get pegged by some trolls broke in the house and poisoned the dog.
What? Never mind the dog. You let someone else besides me peg you?
I'm sorry, Joni. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Please don't be angry at me.
Why shouldn't I be angry at you? You said it was just you, me, and the welfare, and that nothing else mattered.
Because I pretended it was you pegging me. And I shouted your name during my prostate orgasm. That's why I used to be called Ice Cream Fitness. I scream when I fitness dildo inside of me.
I had the Uncle Mike Special Premium Plus planned for you once I came back home, but instead of a dildo, I think I'll just put a bullet in you instead.
Oh, boy.
No, please. When I said I wanted to feel something hard inside of me, that's not what I meant.
I'll think about it. You better not have been searching for another roommate either. If I come back and see someone else there, gone.
Anyway, are you recovering in the hospital okay? I have to ask because recovery's important.
Both my legs are broken. So is the arm.
He wasn't Asian, he was white. He was of Nordic origin. So I had to, Chuck E. Cheese, I had to figure out some Nordic traditions and stuff like that. I think it was pretty cool, you know, and stuff. You know, the little pine thing across the door, cleaning the place there and stuff, and yeah. So I learned a lot of Nordic traditions, as well as food. So it was a pretty good experience here. I mean, and when it comes to people of Norwegian origin, those are the most whitest people out there. But we just happened just to get along just fine, you know. But he wasn't Asian. My last actual boyfriend was Asian. So, yeah. I need to contact him anyway, see how he's doing.
I held the gun to shoot my ex-boyfriend with, but the one I used to peg you is somehow perfectly fine.
Anyway, so what should we do
Yeah, he was just a boyfriend. We were together for like 2 years.
about the dog? I don't want to have to take him to the vet, because then I'll be facing accountability for neglect. I've never been held accountable for anything in my life. I don't think I could handle even the thought of it. Should I just toss the dog in the dumpster, accuse my stalkers of killing that one too, and we get a new one?
Yeah. Plus, if we take the dog to the vet and they save the dog, that bill would be huge, which means less money for me to spend on methamphetamine. Toss him in the trash right now.
Yes, mistress. All right, dog. Time for me to make you disappear. Let's lift you up. Still warm, just like Nova was. All right, he was taken care of. Man, that's a lot of blood and shit on the floor.
Well, you better get it cleaned up fast, because I've got a stomach full of puke waiting on you when I get home.
Well, when will you be home, my queen?
Viking femboy, Chuck E. Cheese. It took me a while to get used to Nordic food. I mean, they ate regular food, but on occasion, you know, they broke out the fish and the meatballs and the soups and stuff like that. So I'll be honest with you, I didn't really mind. I don't mind an open face sandwich or anything like that, or cured fish and stuff like that. I mean, they mostly ate regular southern food and everything, but occasionally, yeah, they would break out the Viking food. So, well, it is what it is there, Chuck E. Cheese. Like I said, I learned a lot. One thing that I did teach him, I took him to the movie Beowulf, and he had never heard of Beowulf before. And I'm not going to refer to him by the name because, you know, I don't, you know, and stuff for general reasons or so forth. But, you know, I actually told him he didn't know who Beowulf was. And when I took him in the movie and he started quoting things like that, I'm like, why have I never heard of this person before? So, I mean, some Nordic food is pretty good there, you know. I mean, the lingonberries are pretty good. You know, and the Swedish meatballs, you know. Like I said, I've been to Aldi before, you know. So, I mean, it's not really that bad. Oh boy, quick pun. You tripping? But you my dog, man. But it's always good to know other people's cultures. I don't.
Hey guys, I'm Marcus.
I wonder why this short clip.
And that's called TRT, testosterone replacement treatment. So it's not called steroids anymore. Everybody that I know is on TRT and they don't dog it out anymore. But 25 years ago, you'd have been taking steroids. So it's all what you think about it. Everybody's got their opinions. My opinion is I have zero regrets from it. It didn't do anything to cause any problems in my life. I've not seen a side effect that didn't bother me. Took a couple years out of my football game. Big deal. It made a wonderful career in wrestling. If it wasn't for steroids, I would have missed that entire run of WCW, NWO, and everything. Everything I just told you. If I didn't do it exactly the way I did it, I would have not made that run and looked as good as I looked for WCW. I have zero regrets, and I was very safe about it. So that is my take on my life with steroids in it. Thank you.
And then on this
Hey everybody,
note,
Marcus Buff Bagwell here. Today I want to share
and on this note,
one of the most personal and emotional experiences of my life. The journey of getting my prosthetic leg and learning how to walk again. This isn't just about wrestling or being Buff Bagwell the entertainer.
the problem with taking drugs, folks, is he talked about all the positives. Yes, he wouldn't have had such a good run, but at the same time, all the drugs that he was taking affected his mental health and everything. So
this is about me as a man facing one of the biggest challenges of my life. When someone loses a leg, the journey toward getting a prosthetic begins very slowly. First, the residual limb, what a lot of people call the nub, has to heal and shrink into a stable shape. Right after surgery, the limb is often swollen and very sensitive. To prepare it for a prosthetic, doctors use special compression methods like shrinker socks or elastic bandages. These apply gentle, even pressure to reduce swelling, improve circulation, and help shape the limb into form that can easily be fit and securely be fit inside a prosthetic socket. This process can take weeks to months, depending on healing time. During this time,
So, folks, again, drugs allowed him to be successful in WCW, but remember, everything has a price to pay.
physical therapy helps keep the muscles strong and the skin healthy. The goal is not just healing, it's about getting the
Well, that's true, but once he was having those accidents, he was still taking the stuff, which, you know, that sometimes shrinks your veins and it cuts off blood circulation, which is exactly what happened to him, Chuck E. Cheese. And he should have been going to the doctor more. And that, yes, the car crash really did it. Or actually, both of his car crashes actually did it. And then he got his neck broken after getting that running bulldog by Rick Steiner in a match. So, yeah. He just tried to hold on to that leg for too long.
to a consistent size and shape so the prosthetic can be comfortable, functionable, and stable. Only after this critical step of shrinking and shaping can the real process of fitting and learning to walk with a prosthetic leg even begin. I had no idea that this process was this involved. In my head, I thought once you heal up, it was as simple as just strapping on a new leg. But let me tell you, it's nothing like that at all. Once I had healed up, the process began with a fitting with Ryan, the owner of Trek Prosthetics and Orthotics.
You know, the good thing is Buff was still training, so it made it easier for him to adapt, though. So
Ryan measured every inch and checked every angle because the...
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely acknowledging that as well. It's just the... what I'm acknowledging is this accumulation of steroids, recreational drugs, and everything like that. They don't mix together. So it's all involved there. And when he says he wasn't taking stuff recklessly, I've heard differently from a number of people there as far as to what he was doing, and what he was doing was pretty reckless.
The way the prosthetic sits has to be perfect.
But I'm really proud of Buff there. He finally gets it. I mean, now he can truly recover. It wasn't the recovery of legs or everything. It's all about the mindset of things. So he's going to be perfectly fine.
If it's off by just a little bit, it can cause unbelievable pain. We also began the shrinking process to bring the size of the nub or limb down so it could fit securely into my future prosthetic. After a couple of months of the shrinking process, finally came the day I actually got my prosthetic leg.
Today is August the 26th, 2025, and we are en route to Trek. I like my new hat. Trek Prosthetics, and we're going to be there in about 5 minutes. So this is day one of leaving and having my leg. So very excited to do this. So we're hopefully no more crutches, no more walkers. I will have my new leg from this point on, man. So here we go.
I think I'm more excited than Mark is, which is crazy, but I am so excited.
I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, this part of it is all custom made for you.
That was made here in this office.
Yeah, so the sockets is what we kind of specialize in. Your componentry from there down is all mass manufactured on a global level.
Oh wow! So that's my leg, right?
That's your leg, and we put this over on that jig, that big noisy machine you just heard there, the vacuum system. So we basically cook a sheet of plastic in this oven, so it goes from sheet form to vacuum formed to make this shape.
Wow.
So that's what we're gonna get you up on today, and
I love it.
Take for a
Yeah, like I said, I've always thought he was a dork for so long, but now he gets it. I'm really proud of him. I mean, he finally gets the fact that he's finally let go of the things that were holding him back, though. He finally gets it, And I can say that because he's only a couple of years older than I am,
Test drive.
I can't even describe the mix of emotions. It was like excitement paired with fear. I just lost my leg 2 months ago. Learned to walk all over again with just one leg. And now I'm about to start relearning to walk again on 2 legs. I was about to take my first steps on something that wasn't mine, but was now going to forever be part of me. I had this feeling of it being more comfortable, and now I can put my leg there too and sit. And it just feels like I've got my leg, I got my legs back.
Now you weren't able to bend your right knee, right? Yeah. So I mean, if you were in them, like you were just doing pull downs, right? It was
every seat that you can sit in. And think about how much we sit. It's a lot as humans. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much until I took my leg off, and I was like, we went to the gym, and I thought it was going to be uncomfortable in the seats.
Cut it out.
It's perfect at the gym now.
Just sitting on the chair with 2 legs underneath me, it felt right. Learning to walk again, man. It was humbling. You take walking for granted your whole life. You just get up and go. But with a prosthetic, every single step is work. The first steps I took, I was holding on to the parallel bars like my life depended on it. My leg was shaking, my balance was off, and every muscle in my body was fighting just to take 1 step forward. And when I would get frustrated and want to quit, I would think about walking into a room under my own power again. Not in a wheelchair, not with crutches, and not with Stacy being there to stabilize me. That vision of back to normal is what kept me going. Little by little, things started to click. My body adjusted. My confidence grew. I went from the bars to a walker to a cane pretty dadgum quick. And eventually, I'd be able to not only walk entirely on my own, but hopefully run. And who knows, maybe one day, hit the ropes just one more time. When that day comes, it won't be just about walking or running or even getting my independence back. It'll be about proving to myself that no matter what life throws at me, I can get back up and push forward. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This has been one of the hardest journeys of my life. From the amputation to just where I am today. I want to share it because I know there are people out there fighting their own battles. You may not have fought through the same battles I have, but if I can survive everything I've been through, from a broken neck in '98 to over 25 years of drug and alcohol addiction, the amputation and learning to walk all over again, twice.
And you see, that's a big thing, folks. He finally acknowledged everything. So, like I said, for many years, I thought he was a dork, but now I actually fully respect him, you know? He finally gets it, you know? Next time I go to one of these expos, I'm going to get Buff Bagwell's autograph. I'm like, brother, I'm proud of you. You finally get it, you know? I used to bypass him because he was always he's just a dork. But now, he gets it. He really does.
I can promise you whatever you're facing, you can overcome it also. Until next time, I am Buff, and I am still the stuff. Ha ha ha! Yes!
Yeah. I'm really proud of him. I really am. Well, I mean, he's a retired wrestler, you know, and he's, like I said, it just wears down, you know. If you've seen Scott Steiner, he doesn't look as big, you know. That's just it, folks. Eventually you slow down, you can't keep doing what you're doing, you know. That's just what happens.
Even if you've never heard the name Alain Delon before, you've probably seen him in the TikTok old money trend, an obscure French actor who barely...
I know who he is. Probably one of the coolest looking guys ever. So
spoke English.
And yes, Raw, I would fuck him all day, every day.
Became the unlikely poster child for a pretty boy form of timeless masculine elegance. Watching Delon on screen today, he is just as magnetic and stylish as he was in his 60s heyday. On August 18th, the star passed away peacefully at his home in France, aged 88. So in today's video, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to pay tribute to Delon and tell you more about his life, his style, and his movies. When news broke of Delon's passing, I put a post out on my YouTube community asking people to share their tributes. And I'd like to read some of these to you because they demonstrate what Delon meant to his fans and how profound his influence was. As a French young man, I'm honestly and profoundly inspired by Alain Delon, one of the last true famous masculine men held by France. Another commenter wrote in French, "Alain Delon is class. Thank you for all the great things he did during his career, especially..."
Yeah, a lot of people are not familiar with this guy. I mean, he was really a regular Roger Moore, Cary Grant. You know, probably the best way to describe him was just a French Cary Grant.
Especially the films Le Clan des Sicilians, La Piscine with Romy Schneider. R.I.P. Alain Delon. France loves you. We will miss you. Another person said, "This man inspired me to take care of my appearance, R.I.P. He was the epitome of classy, stylish and elegant true gentleman, Every move he makes and the way he speaks contained the true essence of the French charmant. Truly, no one of so-called actors of today could be matched to Delon. There will be no one like Alain Delon. On paper, Delon was a very unlikely candidate to become a timeless male pin-up. As a child of divorce, he was sent from his birth parents to his foster parents, then back to his birth parents, then to a Catholic boarding school. During his turbulent adolescence, he was expelled from school, went to jail, and joined a gang. However, it was after being court-martialed in the French Navy for stealing a Jeep that his life began to change. After spending his 20th birthday in prison, he discovered military discipline, a sense of honor, and respect for the flag of France and the values it represents. After leaving the Navy, it was thanks to his relationship with actress Brigitte Alba that Delon entered the world of European cinema, where his handsome looks did not go unnoticed. Delon never learned English fluently, whether he just found it too difficult or preferred acting in French and Italian, we'll never know. But without English, Delon would never become a big Hollywood star, a decision that would change the trajectory of his life. The fact that he was so famous and adored in his native France, but only achieved cult status outside of Europe, forms part of his mystery and his legacy. Delon made the bulk of his most famous movies in the 1960s, but continued to act throughout the decades. In the 70s, his attention turned to business. He released a line of wristwatches, clothing, eyewear, perfume, stationery, and even cigarettes under his name. Despite his recent passing, Alain Delon will continue to inspire men's style for years to come. More men today are familiar with Delon for his handsome looks and his style than his actual movies. The way Delon dressed was simple and understated, yet incredibly sophisticated and masculine. He wore his clothes with a careless swagger that lent relatively ordinary pieces like a dress shirt.
Yeah, but on a talk show, you know, the questions were probably, you know, he was probably told to advance as far as the questions are concerned, so he pretty much knew how to answer. But yeah, you're right. I've never heard him speak indecently. He just has a French accent there, so.
Or a suit jacket, more sex appeal than anything a male peacock could put together. And I think that's partially why Delon's style is so interesting to guys. It's easy to imitate. For example, in this scene in Plan Soleil, he is just wearing a light grey suit and white dress shirt. These are clothes you could literally pick up at H&M. Both on-screen and off-screen, Delon based his wardrobe on timeless staple pieces that look just as good today as they did in the 1960s. If you are in the process of building your wardrobe, you can definitely use his style as a template. Pick up a few dress shirts in white and blue, get a grey suit, a navy suit, a pair of white pants, and accessorize with a couple of necklaces. You might have seen this style described recently as the old money aesthetic. And while old money might seem like a relatively new trend, gentlemen have been dressing this way for decades, especially around the French Riviera, where many of Delon's movies were set. So if you've never seen an Alain Delon movie before, I highly recommend you begin with Plan Soleil. Made in 1960, it was one of his first big breaks, and it's where many of the most iconic images of Delon come from. In the movie, he plays Tom Ripley, who stabs his friend, steals his identity, and steals his girlfriend. This film was remade in 1999 as The Talented Mr. Ripley. My favorite Delon movie, however, is Le Cliché. Made 2 years after Plan Soleil, this is an Italian movie with Delon starring alongside Monica Vitti. He plays an arrogant young stockbroker whose love of money and materialism gets in the way of their love affair. Le Cliché is in black and white, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I would say so. But, you know, a lot of people still don't know who this person is there. They know him by some of the clothing wear, but they don't know that he was an actor, you know. But, yeah, he's not very known in the U.S., but France, he's like they literally worship him in France.
incredibly stylish and cinematic, while Delon looks fantastic in his neo-cut suits and simple ties. I also recommend you watch La Piscine, a 1969 movie in which he plays alongside Romy Schneider as her jealous lover. Now, Romy Schneider and Alain Delon were previously in a real-life relationship. More on that later, but at the time of the filming of this movie, she was already married to a different man and had just had a baby. Delon deliberately made sure Schneider was booked for this role, and he relentlessly pursued her both during and after the filming of the movie to try and get her back. This movie has a lot of sexual tension, which, as you can imagine, is very authentic. It's a beautiful movie to watch, not just for Delon and Schneider, but for the setting of their Saint-Tropez villa and a red Maserati Ghibli. And finally, many classic style enthusiasts agree that Le Samurai is Delon's greatest role. In this 1967 neo-noir, he plays a hitman in Paris. Expect to see trench coats and trilby hats. By the way, all of these movies are in French or Italian, so I hope you don't mind subtitles. They're all available to watch and rent right here on YouTube. This video wouldn't be a fair introduction to Alain Delon if I didn't talk about some of his controversies. Although he certainly dressed like one, Delon didn't always handle himself like a gentleman. For example, when he decided to leave his girlfriend of 5 years, Romy Schneider, for another woman, he simply sent her a red rose with a note that read, "Je regrette." In the early 60s, he had an affair with German singer Nico, and when she gave birth to a son, Delon refused to recognize the child as his. This son would unsuccessfully sue Delon twice for legal recognition of paternity before dying of a drug overdose. But certainly, Delon's greatest controversy came in 1968, when the body of his former bodyguard, Stefan Markovic, was found in a public dumpster. Markovic had previously written a letter to his brother Alexander telling him, "If I get killed, it's 100% the fault of Alain Delon and his godfather, Francois Marc Antony." Marc Antony was a renowned gangster from Corsica who was arrested for 1 year over the murder before being released on bail. Delon was never charged, and the case was dismissed and remains unsolved.
Yeah, that's being found in a dumpster. Not cool.
While Delon was no saint, I want us to remember him for all of the positive things he's brought into this world. Even after his death, he will remain a beacon of timeless style and masculine elegance, unmatched by any actor today. He continues to inspire men across the world to elevate themselves and take pride in their appearance. Meanwhile, his legacy as an actor proves that you can remain patriotic and committed to your culture in your work. You don't need to sell out or compromise to become a hero. Gentlemen, if you haven't already, please share your tributes to Alain Delon in the comments. Tell us something you admire about his style, his acting, or something from his personal life. I look forward to reading them all. Thank you for watching, and rest in peace, Alain Delon.
Yeah, he was definitely nailing every French actress. Whenever you're saying date, I mean, let's just call it the way it is, nailing. How long has my cousin been streaming for? Well, since he's got out of his seat, I'm going to match up his. There you go. he go?
Oh, shit.
Guess he went and took a dump. I'm sure he'll be back. Maybe. Now, one other last video I want to show. We're not going to do the 10K a day. We're gonna watch a workout. Hold on just a minute. Let's watch Quick Pump train for a little bit. Let's see what you can do, Quick Pump. I don't know what you're taking, man. You gotta let us know in the comments here, Quick Pump. What are you taking? Hey, forearm hair is pretty good. Sign of being a man. ABE, all black, everything work. Never heard of that. Who's this person over here, Quick Pump? Who's that on the computer, Quick Pump? Oh, okay. I like the fact that you got it in black and white there. It's a good way to go on this. No problem. You should have put this video up for me to review there, Quick Pump. Why didn't you do that? You didn't. I still check out your channel. Most of you, I always notice things. Now this right here, folks, this is a really old school machine. I'm not sure where you got the. I always wonder where you got this from, because the thing about this is, Quick Pump, that particular machine, whenever I started selling products for Olympia Sports, they sold old-fashioned vintage equipment, and that's just one of those pieces of vintage equipment. That right there, folks, this type of equipment, you're not going to really see that much around anymore. You will not even... Exactly, Ryan. That type of leg press is super rare. You don't find that in any gyms anymore. Keep your legs straight there, Quick Pump. You got your... Got one leg twisted there, but... These machines, folks, used to be very commonplace in gyms because they're compact, you know. They're not as big as the leg press there at the gym. Not only that, these machines were relatively inexpensive, you know. And they worked. You've never seen that type. This is the way leg presses used to be back a long time back in the old days. There, P for P. That's the way they were because they were very inexpensive and and stuff. But they just fell out of favor. They can be a little dangerous there if you don't have the safety pins on them. Quick Pump, you can't have your legs like that, man. You gotta make sure you keep them straight.
Fudge. I gotta keep going with that leg.
Oh yeah, it's also good for doing calf raises too.
Oh, shit. Oh yeah, keep going, keep going.
But you keep it... The thing about it is, even with that being said, he's still kicking it hard, so...
Oh! Keep going. Gotta get a couple more with that right leg. Make it even. With emphasis.
So, the reason why these mainly fell out is if you didn't get the weight back up, it wouldn't so much as fall down, but a lot of people, they have the tendency to where they'll just hold on to it and mess up their legs when in fact the safety bars would prevent it from happening. But having the weights vertical, it made it look like it was about to come crashing down on you. So that's really why they fell out of favor. It's compact and it works. It's just that, people got injured on it, just simply because of the of the mechanism that's in place. But it's good that you have that machine there, Quick Pump. But you gotta keep your feet straight, man. If you notice, his feet are not in the same position as his other foot.
Take a little break.
But one good thing about Quick Pump, he's using solid iron, no cables. He's just using straight up barbell weights. Some real old school stuff. Quick Pump's got one of those Dick the Bruiser gyms, garage gyms. Yeah, I wouldn't try to do that because it could still make one leg weaker than the other Quick Pump. Plus, the type of machine you train on, that thing is dangerous. So, yeah, they don't take up much space and they're inexpensive. But you've had that machine long enough to know what the dangers of it is. So. Yeah, Quick Pump, next time, if you got one of your own videos, let me know. We'll review it. We all got to support each other. Folks, y'all be sure to subscribe to Quick Pump's channel. Hey, you shouldn't be trying to invite Raw anywhere. He might try to plug you. Midnader. My dog, Quick Pump. All right. Folks, 5 minutes left. Get your questions in. If you wish to make a donation, you can. Be sure to smash the like button. Be sure to thank everybody that has contributed to the channel, including Doggy, Quick Pump, Ski Mask. I definitely appreciate the contributions here. Oh boy. But folks, I'm gonna put a link here. I want everybody to go here. Y'all go and check out Quick Pump's channel. I swear to God, I'm getting a little hungry. I don't know why. I mean, it's nighttime, so I'm not going to eat much. Maybe a rice cake with a little peanut butter on it. I think that'll do the trick. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a continental breakfast before I hit the gym. No problem there. We gotta support each other there, man. I'm telling you. If we don't, you know, we don't. So. But yeah, those old school leg press machines there, I can understand you're trying to emphasize one leg, but you don't want to do it on that type of machine there. Not on a vertical leg press. You can get yourself pretty hurt really badly. I mean, you've been training on that on the press for a while, so I don't expect you to. But even if I've been using it for a long time, it's just not something I try to do on a type of machine like that. I do single leg on a seated leg press. Oh yeah, emphasizing the leg's a good way to add a little bit of variety to your workouts and stuff. You just have to be very mindful of it, so. Because like I said before, it's not exactly a, you can't really fuck with a leg. I mean, the vertical leg press used to be the most commonplace I mean, that was the leg press machine in gyms back in the day. Anyone who has one, I don't even know if they make vertical leg presses anymore. They probably do. Someone's probably still making those because they're relatively inexpensive. Yep. You could still get a, and this is just an example as far as to how inexpensive they are. Because for $249, you can get a Titan one. Because there's not that many parts and it's very compact. And you could probably get one for even less. I mean, you could even get this one. This one here is one from Temu, and it's $152. But like I said before, you still gotta be careful on them. I mean, look at this one. This one's $199. Because when it comes to a regular leg press machine, they are super big and bulky, and they can cost some money. I mean, there's some places that sell them. You get budget ones for like this one, $500 and everything. But still, you're not going to get anything less expensive than a vertical leg press. But folks, it is 12 o'clock midnight. That is the end of another great show of the Midnight Run. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I want to thank everyone that's contributed, the ones that I've mentioned. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for whatever Saturday. I still haven't figured out a proper name since there's no more Soul Poll. But the great one will figure it out. But again, folks, I am out. And as always, peace and soul. And now a word from the cassowary.